for me at this point is I believe it did save my life because of where I was at. If I would not have found you, I don't think I would be alive today. I really don't. Because my fatigue, the adrenal fatigue, I was just starting to head into organ shutdown at that point. So it was dramatic. It was very dramatic. I was an extremely active person. I've always been very healthy and rarely ever got sick at all. And in 2010, I had a car accident that didn't seem like it was that bad at first. I mean, it hurt my neck, but then as I just wasn't getting better. And so finally they did an MRI and found out I had a tear in my spinal cord area. So it's not the cord itself, it's the sheath around the cord, and it filled with fluid. So it interferes with all of your nervous system. I kept being told, you look fine, everything looks fine. You know, everybody kept telling me it was all in my head. You know, I went to a psychiatrist and she said, no, it's not in your head, Darla. It's really, truly in your body. Something's not right. By that point, I was in stage 3 of adrenal fatigue. I had fibromyalgia. I had just a long list. I mean, there's probably 20 different things on there. And by that point, every 2 weeks, I was having a new kind of symptom. My legs weren't working right, severe muscle spasms and cramps and just all kinds of stuff. At first, I was really angry because I thought, why can't you help me? And then now I realize they just don't know. Not even neurosurgeons, none of them. They don't know. In 2016, they told me that was as good as I was ever going to get. And I was just going to have to learn how to live with it because mine is small enough and where it's located to do any kind of treatment for it would be paralysis for me. The long and the short of it is then at that point in the fall of 2017, I came across some of your videos through a friend of mine who had found one on YouTube, and I watched all of it. And then all of a sudden things started clicking in my head. I get it now. This is what's happening. I'd already been told it was my nervous system, but I had no idea. I had birth trauma. I had developmental trauma. I just had trauma, like she was saying earlier, trauma after trauma after trauma in my lifetime. And so finally it was like, okay, affirmation and your support from your team in the beginning for me was the biggest part because I had been told over and over so many times, this is all in your head. It was like, I knew it wasn't in my head, but I couldn't prove it. And finally I started getting proof. It was like, aha. So this is what's happening. This is what's happening. So the education part is huge because it really gives you a sense of understanding, and it takes away the fear because I lived in constant anxiety by that point. At this point today, I rarely ever have anxiety. It's really, really, really rare. And I've learned how to listen to my body. For me, that was super hard. Just learning how to relax. That was another major part for me, was learning how to pace and the listening to your body. It took me several years to figure that out. That's why you have to go through this over and over. It's because it's not just learning, it's learning how to apply, and your body can't do it all at once. It just simply cannot handle it. It can't. And for those of us who have deal with the fatigue issue, you have to be able to rest and give your body what it needs. In this last year, I have actually felt my body finally say, I'm ready to heal. And it's starting to heal. This last round that we did of SBSM, I could feel it. I could really feel my body saying, this is working for me now. It's working for me now. You're listening to me. When you did that new layers lesson, my body I started crying, tears of joy, because it was like, you notice me. You see me, you hear me. I love this. It was so amazing. And this just happened a couple of days ago, which is one reason why it's emotional for me with the neuropathy. I have had that feeling of cutting all the time in my hands and my feet. The only way I knew I was injured was by seeing the blood, because it was just that intense. And just a couple of days ago, I accidentally cut my finger and I felt it right when it happened. And it was like, wow, I had no idea that it had healed enough at this point that I could actually feel again. It's just, it's fascinating what happens. And it is a lifestyle. Listening to other people's stories, you can always resonate for people who haven't done it yet and wanting to know how this can help them. That's huge. That is a huge, huge piece, because most of us that have these issues have been told there's something wrong with us in one way or another. Maybe not verbally, maybe just, through actions or whatever, but in reality, no. And when you are surrounded by other people like we are in this group, where we're all sharing our stories and we're all supporting each other in that and saying and validating, the validation, I guess that's the word I'm looking for, the validation and affirmation that you receive through this is life-changing.